So what have you guys seen, first and foremost, as far as the problems that a typical builder that is not using slot selling, what problems does it solve for them right now?
Yeah, well, for the typical building company, one of the biggest challenges or problems that they come up against is procrastination. And this is because the sales process is just so long in our industry. It really does lead to people second guessing themselves. Maybe that little doubt kind of creeps in, which leads to procrastination. And another challenge that or problem that they face is the lowest price scenario, where consumers believe they need to go to three or even more builders and collect a load of quotes for a massive project, and they're collecting quotes that they don't really understand what they're reading when they look at them. So they compare the one thing they do understand, which is price. So builders are coming up against this challenge where they're putting a lot of work into the front end of the sales process, producing a detailed quote. The consumer looking at that quote won't understand the difference between that comprehensive quote that they've produced versus a 2 or 3 page quote with a load of allowances in. And then also they'll come up against procrastination, but by using construction slots, they can overcome procrastination because they can keep the momentum moving. They keep the prospect focused on the end goal. And it's exactly what you said, Rick. It's focusing on, when do you want to be enjoying your new home? When do you want to be living this lifestyle? They can stay focused on that because, of course, with construction slots, you not only have your start dates, but you have your finish dates as well. So it comes home very clearly. But also, we as a species, we all want scarce resources. So the builder that has a finite supply and limited supply, becomes naturally in demand as well, because it's just the way we're built. And as you can imagine, when those slots fill up and the builder is not available to start for 9 or 12 months, that becomes the builder in demand. People are prepared to wait for that builder rather than sign up with someone that has abundance of availability. It's just the way we're built. It's weird, but it certainly works.
And that's a true testament. I can tell you that one of the tools that we use for our clients is something called database reactivation, where we simply go back into cold leads, old leads, dead leads, and we just shake the bushes, if you will, and just see who's out there. And we just had a client, a remodeling client, that had someone come and said, "Oh, hey, we want to do an addition, we want to do in a kitchen." And my client said, "You know what? Right now, this is January of 2022 as we're recording this, and this is when we did the reactivation." My client said, "I'm sorry, but we're booked out until 2023." And he says, "Well, that's okay. We'll wait." I mean, it was a year out, but exactly like you said, is that, oh, if you're booked out that far, then you must be the person to go to. I want to make sure that I have you do my project.
Yeah, we hear this story all the time in marketing, don't we, with restaurants? You go to a new town, you walk out of your hotel, you look at 2 restaurants, one's got a queue and the other one's empty. I mean, you go and queue up. It's
We
it's
all we
just
all we all want what we can't have.
exactly.
For sure. So that's the problems it solves. So pricing is a big one, obviously, and we're always fighting that. Where we're trying to deal with it, like you said, a very complex issue, and the clientele does not understand really what it is, and so they just use the lowest common denominator, which is the lowest price. I came up with a term a few years ago called commodification. We're looked at as commodities, and we're simply saying, oh, you're the same, you're the same, you're the same, so who's got the lowest price? But on the builder side of it too, there are unscrupulous builders out there that will buy a bid too. So they'll purposely go in and they'll throw in a low bid, understanding that, and then figure they'll just make it up as they go forward. So slot selling obviously does solve that, and you're so right as far as people want what they can't have, and they're willing to wait for it to get what they perceive to be the best.